The Pearlmongers used to be across the way, but I don't think that's them tonight. So we have last time. Yeah,
they wrote the address on my desk.
yeah, they couldn't find it. Still figuring it out. Still figuring it out. Okay. There's a lot of people I don't immediately recognize, which means we have a lot of new faces here, because a lot of times it's a lot of the same people. So one thing that I like to do is, we used to do intros when we were a smaller group. We would do intros for every single person. But just to sort of break the ice a little bit and you know, that kind of thing, let's do a brief intro for everybody who has never, ever attended a Python meetup of any kind. If you've attended other Python meetups but not San Diego Python, you can stand up and say something first also. But I'll start first, even though I've organized this thing. I'm David, by the way, so I'm here like all the time. But I will start up and say something just to get it started. So I'm David. I organize San Diego Python. I use Python on a daily basis. I work for a beer software company locally. So it's a company called Tap Hunter, and we help you manage and market your craft beer and beverage program if you are a bar or restaurant or brewery. So who hasn't been here before, and you know, stand up and say something. Go ahead.
My name is Shri. So I recently came to San Diego like 3 months back, and yeah, a couple of months back I started learning Python, and I'm here with my husband. So he introduced anyway. So yeah, I'm looking out for a job in the job market. And yeah.
What kind of job?
Software.
As I'm like the BrightScope poster session.
I am a software engineer. I
Yes.
have about 6 years of experience. I used to work in Honeywell back in India. So yeah, something in C++, Python.
Awesome. Anybody else never been here before or never been to a Python meetup?
I'm Michael. I'm one of the co-founders of Code Cobblers. We're a local software consulting company. Been around for about 10 years. My business partner Scott's been to here before, so he got me to come in along. And we, between us, we have about 45 years of experience in the video games industry. And now we've been doing some projects for GM and some other stuff. Came before I kind of took a hiatus from our company and was over at Zynga doing web games, where I was stuck with PHP. Scott convinced me to come back, and we've been doing Python servers.
Was the local Zynga office or the Bay Area Zynga?
Carlsbad.
Carlsbad.
Yeah, I was the CTO of one of the projects there. So we've been doing this server stuff. I've been working on it now for about 15 months. Day to day Python. Every day.
Cool. Awesome.
I'll go next. Okay. So I'm Girish, and as she told, we moved here 3 months back. I was in Bangalore and part of the Bangalore Python group. Now I'd like to be a part of the San Diego Python group.
You're welcome here.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I use Python. I've been using Python for the last 6 years, and I use it on a day-to-day basis as part of my work at Akamai. We use Python as part of our workflow engine for the transcoding.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll go next. My name is Fahad. We're actually from Los Angeles, me and my principal. And we're part of a startup. We use Python and Django in our stack with Haystack and everything else. We just started, so we came down here because we saw Daniel. LA's Python group is not that special. I used to live in San Diego actually, so came back to see some friends and just hang out.
We had a reboot of our Python group like 2.5 years ago. We were dying out, but then we
Yeah,
rejuvenated.
I think LA's going through the same phase right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having some issues.
It happens when you know your leaders move to the Bay Area. Whatever. I'm not gonna. Anybody else first time here?
Yeah, first time here. My name is Rick. I run a consulting shop in LA called Collide Dynamite. We do web and mobile development. And like the guy mentioned, the LA Python group is kind of dead right now. So,
You should
Yeah.
start it up again.
Yeah.
so just here to meet and learn from Daniel and us.
Alright, I guess I'm new too. I'm new to San Diego and also new to programming.
I've been working out overseas for like around 5 years. I'm back in the state now and changed career and programming, and Python is the first one I picked. Well, recommended by my brother here, so I'm Brandon and I'm looking to learn a lot from everybody here. So, and my name is Ross, by the way.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
My name is David.
Awesome.
I'm a graduate student at San Diego State in economics, and I use Python mostly for data manipulation, stuff like that. And I learned it 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, in fact, from a Google Python class. It was in the back pages of Google. They had like a Python class, and I went through the whole thing, and that was my first experience programming at all. So it's been 2 years now, and so that's cool.
You were the first person I've heard who learned it that way. I might come talk to you after and like see if you know the URL still, or if I can find it.
I learned it that way.
Really?
That's how I started.
Jeez. All right. Well, that's 2. So that means I need to add it to the Python San Diego getting started page.
Yeah.
On, how to learn Python and stuff. Anybody else? Anybody new? Want to say something? If you don't want to, it's okay. All right. You want to say something?
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Audrey. I'm Danny's wife and principal at Cartwheel Web. I co-wrote 2 scoops of Django with Danny, and I've been doing a lot of salt stack stuff lately. Oh, I wrote Cookie Cutter.
Sure. So I'm Daniel Greenfeld. I'm her husband, Audrey's husband. I've been doing Python since I guess around 2005 or 2005, and professionally since 2006. But I had a chance to work with Guido Van Rossum in 1999, and I didn't. So I work with Audrey as principal at Cartwheel Web. Oh, that's changing really soon, and I guess I'll kind of still be on. And what else? There's for the people who came down from Los Angeles. If you want to pitch in, I know at least some of the people in the Los Angeles with Cow Piggies. Right. And maybe I can make introductions if you want to pitch in. Right. For LA Django, no one can get in contact with them. I've had people email me saying, "Can you get in contact with them?" I can't help you. Yeah.
If you guys, I can't make it up to LA to help you reboot it, but if you want know-how, we literally 2.5 years ago. Yeah, we have
you can use our workshop.
You can use our workshops. Okay. 2.5 years ago, we had 4 people attend a meeting.
I've run meetings where me and one other.
Those were really successful for us for getting people into the group. They go to the workshop and they realize it's a fun bunch of people, and so they can.
Nice. Okay.
I would use a workshop.
Okay. We'll talk after.
Yeah, maybe what we should do is have whoever lives closer to LA come up front after and try to get you to reboot it.
Yeah, there's only 5 million people there. Yeah. Sure you can.
Yeah, the key is basically have a date, have a speaker, stick to it. But there's a couple other things. But that's the main key. Don't say, "Oh, we're having a meeting in 6 hours." All right. So I guess we're done with intros. Unless anybody else, last chance. All right. So announcements. I have a full board of announcements. First, you are in the Answer Innovation Center. That's this place. They are extremely generous in letting us host this meetup here every month, basically, for 2 years. If you live in San Diego and you want sort of co-working space in San Diego, this is a great place to get co-working space. We've had people who work here give talks before. It's a great space. If you do get co-working space here, normally Wes is here to give a pitch, but he's not here. Wes is the person to get in contact with. If you need help getting in contact with them, contact me, I'll put you into contact with them. If you do need co-working space, just tell them you're part of San Diego Python, not because we get a kickback, but because it justifies our existence in terms of letting us, invade with 40 people on Thursday. Okay, awesome. But yeah, it's a great place. Some of the guys here, they help run the startup weekend in San Diego, which this year is actually Startup Week. I believe it's I believe it's in middle to late June. I know I won't be here, but I think it's the week of June 20th-ish, around there. But there's a whole week of events, like there's a downtown crawl of local startups and things like that. So, you know, if you're around, you know, go there. It'll be cool. Okay, so that's the Answer Innovation Center. 2, we have a newsletter for San Diego Python. If you're on the Meetup, you probably get the newsletter unless you've like specifically declined to get the newsletter. It comes out once a month, roughly around the 1st of the month, which is whenever my pull request gets accepted and when I actually write it the first time, which are usually in order. So yeah, and basically it has things like local jobs, things about the local tech community. Sometimes we have stuff about the wider Python community in general. If something happens, you know, in San Diego about Python or about technology, I don't necessarily hear about it. So, I mean, I try, but I fail sometimes. So feel free to like send me a note on Meetup. I'm one of the organizers. Just say, hey David, this should be in the newsletter. Or hey David, my company's hiring. Here's a job posting. It should be in the newsletter. If you look at the past newsletters, it's got the email address to send it to also. That'll work too. But if something should be in the newsletter, like your company is hiring, or you know, somebody awesome was featured in the local paper, you know, send it and I'll put it in the newsletter. You know, provided it's not crazy. All right. The PyData conference was in the Bay Area since the last meetup. I believe it was actually on the day of the last meetup. That was the first day of it. Did anybody go to it? Awesome. I was gonna have, if anybody went to it, I was gonna make them say something, just you know, give an overview of the conference, but that's okay. But yeah, I heard it was really good. I think somebody went.
Have there been any videos? I haven't seen any videos.
Right? You're the one who like looks at PieVideo every
I
day.
have no idea.
There's like bugs for PieVideo every day.
Is it being recorded?
I've been busy the last month. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, in case you don't know, PieVideos.org, pretty sure. PieVideo.org, excuse me. Most of the Python conferences get recorded. Most of the talks at the conferences, they all get recorded and they get put up for free on PieVideo.org. You can go watch like, you know, a specific person's, not even a keynote talk at PyCon from 2 years ago. Like, it's pretty awesome. I've definitely gone back. I don't look at it all the time, but I've probably gone back and watched like 10 or 15 videos over the years. So, you know, if you feel like you heard about somebody giving a talk at the conference and you want to review it, or you're like, oh, I'm working with this technology, has anybody given a talk on that at PyCon? It's worth taking a glance through.
Quick plug, PieVideo is actually written in Python, of course. It is written on top of Django, and it could very much use help.
Yeah, yeah. Paul and I were the ones that added support for Python 3 at the PyCon because it's just Will and
like a few other people.
one of the
Coder,
person.
Squid, I can't
don't
remember
think I
her
met
real
her,
name.
but Will was the only person we worked
Thank
on.
you.
So it's open source. If you want help hacking on it, ask me and I'll put you in contact with Will.
Yeah, it's a very simple code base, but it could use help.
Awesome. The GeekGirlTech conference, June 21st. That is between now and our next meetup, so like there won't be another time that I will announce it other than in the newsletter. And then maybe at the next meetup we'll have somebody give an overview, like nobody did for PyData this time. That's okay. It's at USD, the University of San Diego, the one off of Morena over there, down like at 5 and 8.
Yeah, PyLadies and San Diego Python Users Group will be co-sponsoring it. Yeah, PyLadies.
Pilot is
Oh,
co-sponsoring.
yeah, okay. I thought you were going to go.
I have no idea. I know
I
that you
cannot
guys-
go, I will be in Tucson.
Okay,
But
all right.
If we have money to co-sponsor it.
But if not, I
we
think
can
we're
work
better.
on sponsorship.
Okay.
I just
well,
can't help.
We're definitely going to be sharing a booth.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'll definitely be there.
Okay.
Okay. Well, great. So that's coming up within the next month. Oh yeah, we have a book club. We have a number of books which you can borrow if you want to. These are not covered under the book club, but these books are covered under the book club. So we have, like, basically everybody has a bunch of tech books, you know, when you've been in tech for a long time, and you end up with these books that you'll probably never look at again. So, you know, if you have books that you don't want and you're willing to lend them out, you can donate them to us and we'll loan them out. And you can probably get them back if you want them, but you know, books do sometimes walk off. So we have a number of books. We have WX Python in Action, Version Control by Example, Programming Android, my own book that I never opened, and awk programming, effective awk.
Does anyone have any books from last month? I don't know. I'll mark you off the spreadsheet. You had a couple? All right.
So yeah, if you would like to borrow any of these books, feel free to come back up after, and like we basically just write your name in a spreadsheet, and then hope that you told us the truth and that you will return them. But that's about it. Last thing in the announcements. Is anybody looking for a job or have job openings at their company that they're working for, or job openings that they specifically are in charge of? Go ahead.
We actually have an opening for a senior Django programmer. We work with, like I mentioned earlier, we work with Haystack. We do a lot of geospatial programming. So if you know GeoDjango and you're good with PostGIS, then we'd be happy to talk to you. We might look bummy, but we can afford you, so don't worry about that. We don't get paid well, but the other people do get paid well. And yeah, that's about it. You can meet me afterwards. And even if you're intermediate, but you're highly skilled, we're still interested in talking to you. So feel free to reach out. Thanks.
What was the company name again?
It's Vintu.
Awesome. Yeah. Anybody else?
BrightScope as always.
BrightScope. You want me to give the pitch?
I've heard it so many times, please.
So BrightScope is a local financial analytics company. Their headquarters is in UTC, right by UC San Diego. They do data analysis on like 401ks, financial advisors, these types of things to try to advise people, institutions, etc. on the best course of action for potentially, you know, choosing the right 401k, choosing the right 401k plan among multiple plans, choosing the right financial advisor, these types of things. Did I do that okay?
We effectively crunch a lot of public data.
Crunch a lot of public data. So they're a Django shop. So Python, Django in EC2, and you guys, DevOps.
Yep.
Your staff.
Puppet for right now. We argue internally over SaltStack and Ansible. I personally lean towards Ansible at the moment, but you're more than welcome to argue with me about that because I've played extensively with Salt. Yeah, if you have DevOps skills, if you have Python skills, if you have Django skills, a little bit of GeoDjango actually would be very helpful for us as well, but we don't use that as much. Yeah.
We've had numerous requests for somebody to give a talk on GeoDjango here, and I still haven't found somebody to give that talk.
He looks like he could do it. We'll pay for your gas, or at least I would hope to hear about it.
Force you to drive back down another time from LA. Yeah, I will work on that actually. Okay. Anybody else? Open positions or looking for a job opening? All right. So I guess we'll move right along to our first speaker.
Maybe it's Saturday. It's Saturday group.
Oh yeah, that's still on the announcement. Sorry, I didn't. The Saturday study group, they meet right there at Pangea, the bakery down and across the parking lot from us right now.
Actually, if you come around, we now have a room which is insulated. It's quite a little hack crest, how you call that? Yeah, so it's soundproof, so you can talk, and it's kind of informal. You come with your laptop and work. We have lots of people who are completely new to Python. We have people who are not new at all. Everybody works on their thing. We have a bunch of people who work on the Coursera course, which is really good to pick up Python, and it's friendly. And coffee is very close, so every Saturday at 1 o'clock from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I forgot about that, even though I wrote it down. All right. So Daniel is our first speaker.
Actually, I'll need your help because this isn't on.
Awesome. Oh, your port's on the other side.
I don't know if they changed it in the more recent Air.
I don't know. I have the regular Mac.
And my computer's thinking.
Well, I think this thing's.
Oh, here we go.
Is the camera rolling?
Sorry, this is taking a little bit. Is the camera rolling? Even though I don't have slides up yet. Wonderful. So
We'll
this
edit
is
it.
the first time I've spoken since last July, so I'm going to be a little bit rusty. I can talk too fast, so